Hello there, welcome to the third week of March of Robots. If you don't know, this is a monthly art challenge where you're given a prompt every single day and you're also given some mods. I don't know exactly how you're supposed to use them, but I just sort of slip them in if they fit. This is the third video of this challenge, so if you've missed the first or second, I will leave them here and down below if you're interested in checking them out. For the third week, I thought we could go back to watercolour a little bit and try out some different stuff. Try out some mild liners, some markers, metallic watercolours, just try and experiment and have fun. It's a mixed media sketchbook, so I want to just try some stuff out and I thought that you could come along with me. Week 3's prompt started with space, and I decided to paint a bee in space. It doesn't look really much like a robot, and it also doesn't really look much like space. But because the bee has black sections on it, I just thought it would look too dark if I made the background too dark, so it ended up being quite a lot lighter. When it comes to these challenges, generally I will go for the first idea that I get in my head and I don't really change it very much. I feel like because you have to pump out so many ideas so quickly and really it's just sketchbook work, I don't try and come up with an incredible idea. I just kind of go with what I've got in my head because otherwise I will talk myself out of that idea. I don't know who decided to put moon, space and planet on the exact same prompt list this year, but it was a little bit rude if I'm honest. And I feel like if they were on separate years, it would make it easier to have different prompts, but I don't know why they were decided to put on the exact same year. I really struggled to make each of them look so different from each other. And obviously I have a frog astronaut, a bee, and then I did a UFO for this one, so they do look very different. Initially, I did really just want to do loads of astronauts though. The 17th prompt is element, and this is the only one that I did change from the initial sketch. I didn't have an idea in mind for this. This is one of the last ideas that I came up with, and the only thing that I could really come up with was doing like 4 different elements joined together, and I really didn't like that idea. I knew I wanted to do a cyborg in this robot challenge and I hadn't done it yet, so I decided to do a bit of a earth fire cyborg, kind of combining both elements, and I do quite like how it turned out, but I did stray a little bit from the sketch. Initially she was supposed to have like robot arms and it ended up a lot more human than I was planning. But I did quite like it, and interestingly enough, the paper handled watercolour okay this time. The idea I had for Grow, I really loved. I just don't think it exactly went to plan, but I still really like the idea and I think it does look quite good. I just think I would change it if I was going to redo it. I decided to do the background nice flowy pastel-y because I felt like the robot was going to be quite dark, so it kind of contrasts. I think the biggest problem I had was I just really struggled to make the gouache opaque enough. And it got to the point that I'd done the base colour of purple and then I'd done another layer on top of purple, and I was like, I can't tell if it's not opaque enough or if I just need to add other details and it will blend into the background, because sometimes with gouache you can get too hung up on trying to make it a perfect surface, when in reality as soon as you add the line work and all the other stuff it just blends in, it's absolutely fine. In this instance I do think it's still noticeable that the purple isn't opaque enough. The concept, honestly, I would repaint it again, either with watercolour or with gouache, and doing it properly this time. The prompt for number 19 is lines, and I decided to pull out my Tombow marker for the first time and try and actually use it. The idea I had for this one was to do a really kind of skinny robot that's made of line work, and I wanted to make it actually immersive. A lot of the robots that I've done so far are just kind of robot concepts standing still. So for this one, I wanted it to be kind of hanging from like a zip line in the middle of a city and just make it a little bit more immersive. I'm not sure about the Tombow markers for the skyscrapers, but I felt like it would be a lot easier than trying to do it all in gouache, and as one of my art goals for this year, so I'm definitely trying to incorporate it. Number 20 is map, and I went a similar route for this one. I used my zebra mild liners, and honestly, especially with this grey, the way that the panels, it looks like the panels are kind of connected, like they're metal panels that are connected. I feel like this one looks a lot more like a robot than some of the previous ones, where you had to use your imagination a little bit to try and see it as a robot. But this one, it actually looks quite a lot like a robot, I think. It was really different techniques and I really enjoyed it. It was really fast as well. I decided to do a bird and it was holding like a treasure map. And it's all pen really, it's just a bit of gouache for the background. final prompt of week 3 is object, and I decided to go back to my roots a little bit here and use watercolour in a really flowy way. I tried to keep it quite light and pastel-y, really flowy, and this is honestly my favourite way to create with watercolour. Sometimes you can quite easily overwork it though and not know when to stop, and sometimes it can just absolutely spread across the paper and you can ruin the entire piece. But I do love that flowy look that watercolour gives, especially in this one. Whilst I have mostly used watercolour and gouache, I've tried out some new mediums and I hope you've enjoyed watching me use them. That's week 3 done. Going into week 4 or 4.5, there will be one more video that will cover the final stretch. It will be a little bit of a long one, but I'm going to cover lots of different mediums. I'm also going to be doing the himi jelly gouache. I use it in a very different style. I use it in a 2D kind of illustrative style. I feel like that's just the easiest way to use the gouache. Thank you so much for watching this video or this series. If you've watched any of the others, please make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss the final one, and I will see you there. Bye bye.